Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we got a short episode today, but an episode nonetheless, with some changes when it comes to Waylaid supplies and level 60 tier sets, the insane XP amount from running Black Fathom Deep's next phase, clarifications on Wind Fury for Shamans and so many other classes, and some really crucial gold preps you're gonna want to make now. My name's Sky from Comeback Kids. This is your Season of Discovery news. Grab a cup of coffee and sit down. We got a lot to discuss. By the way, if you're interested in leveling up very efficiently next phase, as well as finding your runes quickly and painlessly, check out the link in the description below with our Rested XP affiliate link, where you can actually get the best guide for World of Warcraft out there, as well as support the channel directly. So if you want that, go check it out. Moving on now, starting things with how it looks like Blizzard is going to be releasing an 8-hour-long maintenance on Tuesday, ranging from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific time. Now, this is important for a few reasons. Number one, it means everyone can go ahead and finally take their weekly showers a little bit early. No, but in all seriousness though, this actually means that they're probably updating the game heavily on the PTR, and data miners are going to likely be able to pick up a lot of the release versions of what's to come inside of Phase 2 later this week. This could mean all of the runes, the raiding gear, professions, and crafted items, as well as all the new PvP-specific rewards coming from the Stranglethorn PvP events, which we will, of course, keep all of you updated on also. So while all the data miners are hard at work for those 8, 9, 10 hours straight, do yourself a favor, get out of the house, try to relax, because the next few weeks are going to be very intense when it comes to gaming in Season of Discovery. Now, when it comes to leveling up next phase, we're going to have also a variety of increases to help us along our journey. Of course, we all know about the 50% XP boost from 1 to 25, and now it was confirmed additionally that Black Fathom Deeps is going to give you a substantial amount of XP in the start of the Phase 2 for completing the raid as you're leveling up. But the thing is no one's exactly sure how much XP this is going to be until now. A user over on Reddit asked if doing the raid with 5 people will give you double the XP rather than doing it with 10, pretty much asking if doing it with less people will reward you with more XP, and the answer was actually pretty simple. It was data mined that you would get around 3,000 experience points per boss that you kill, and 5,000 for Akumai, equaling out to about 23,000 XP. And to give you some context, leveling up through level 26 is roughly 36,000 experience, so completing BFD, if you could do it quickly and efficiently with some friends or with guildmates, would really be worth it in terms of XP next phase. Now, a massive discussion within the community since Season of Discovery has launched was the fact that our characters are very powerful because the gear and runes we're acquiring is making us significantly stronger than the level we are at right now in regular Classic. Who's to say that the level 50 raid gear we'll be getting soon won't just flat out be stronger than the level 60 raid gear we would previously acquire in vanilla? Well, I think we have something very interesting to show you. What you're seeing on screen right now is the Judgment chest piece for Paladins, and if you take a closer look, there's something really interesting here. Normally on this piece of gear, you would just have some mana per 5 and bonus healing. But on this particular piece on the PTR data mined, it seems like there is defense as well as an increase to block value instead. Now, you may be confused on what I'm saying or what all this really means, but to me, this is very obvious what is happening here. Blizzard could be noticing a few things. Number one, they could very well be making changes to the loot inside of the endgame of Classic World of Warcraft to increase its strength and power based off the gear we have now. And number two would be that they are making tier sets dedicated to meme specs we have seen in the past, such as Elemental and Enhancement Shaman, Shadow Priest, Balanced Druids, Protection, Retribution Paladins. So not only do we have evidence to support this, we also have the fact that they're making changes to dungeon items for Phase 2 right now as we speak, such as items inside of Scarlet Monastery, Oldemon, and even professions out there. From a game design standpoint, you have to understand how amazing this is. Previously in Classic, so many specs were forced into healer or tank roles simply because the other specs were just lacking so hard, and I think by adding specific tier sets, all of these runes, the new abilities, and updated class mechanics all inside of SoD, the specs that were once memes don't look like they're going to be jokes any longer, which is nothing but good news for the players, the game, everything moving forward. Moving on now to some very interesting data mines for Waylaid supplies, shamans, mages, and even rogues that no one seems to be talking about. So let's dive into it. Remember how when you were farming out your Waylaid supplies in Phase 1, you would go out, kill a bunch of enemies, and pray for a drop, and then run all the way back to the capital to fill out that one single order and turn it in one at a time? Well, we here on the channel have been making a very big deal to the developers to make some changes on this, and it seems like it wasn't in vain, because that's not going to be the case any longer. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the Waylaid supply shipments unique on the PTR have been increased to 12. This is an absolutely fantastic change that a ton of players are going to be thrilled about, because this now allows you to farm a nice chunk of Waylaid supply crates while you're out in the world, bring it back, and get an immense amount of reputation all at one time in one trip. So long are the days of farming out Waylaid supplies one at a time, because now you could farm out up to 12 at once. Very, very great quality of life change. The community over the last few days have also been in a really big uproar, saying that Wind Fury for Shaman is dead on arrival because the developers increased Wind Fury's internal cooldown to 3 seconds on the PTR, which meant that Wind Fury couldn't proc Wind Fury on itself, which takes away a lot of the burst potential that this specialization previously had. Within 24 hours of this post going live, Agron, the head classic developer, took to Twitter to clarify that Wind Fury is going to be fine. It has a different internal cooldown than it should, and they'll fix it, and all is going to be good. So it seems like everyone can stop the doom and gloom about Enhancement Shamans being dead on arrival Phase 2. Also, speaking of fantastic Shaman additions, I personally have been digging deep into some data mining, and have found some really interesting things. As you can see on screen, it looks like shamans could be getting what is called improved weapon enhancements, which will increase the duration of your personal weapon imbuements by 100%. It was confirmed previously that paladins are getting a very similar effect with their blessings, and it would make sense that shamans get this as well, turning their weapon imbuements from 5-minute durations up to now 10 minutes, which is a great quality of life change. Additionally, we found that Stormstrike could be getting a 14-second cooldown reduction as well, and the mana cost being reduced by 70%, generally turning Stormstrike into a 6-second cooldown offensive attack, which would be great for enhancement shamans overall. And for the last 2 data mines for Shaman that I found, you actually have Overcharge, which makes your Lightning Shield never lose charges and have no cooldown and deal damage to all enemies around you up to a certain amount of yards, which honestly seems fantastic for Enhancement Shaman tanks, which can be really helpful for their damage and threat generation. Then we also found an additional Shaman effect towards your Lightning Shield that now allows it to have 9 charges, and additionally have your melee attacks have a 6% chance to trigger one of those charges, immediately damaging your target. Now, we did see this get implemented inside of Wrath of the Lich King, deeper into the Enhancement Shaman talent tree, so seeing something like this potentially being implemented in Season of Discovery doesn't seem too far-fetched and would definitely be most welcome. For you rogue players out there, we actually found a Blunderbuss ability that fires a musket blast up to 4 enemies in front of you in a cone, dealing physical damage on a 15-second cooldown. This honestly seems fantastic for rogue tanks as well as rogues that are just looking to deal some more AoE damage, and I absolutely love that they keep on sticking to this almost like pirate gunslinger theme for rogue when it comes to ranged effects. I mean, having quick shot, your regular ranged attacks, and then now Blunderbuss, seems like mid-range rogue is looking more and more like an option inside of Season of Discovery. And lastly, for mages, spending a bunch of money on comprehension charms never felt good to do. Something interesting that might be coming is the Conjure Comprehension Charm spell that actually summons 5 comprehension charms on a 3.5-hour cooldown. This would be a fantastic addition to the game, considering that no one wants to be wasting money on using one of the really interesting class mechanics that have been implemented in Season of Discovery. So if this is true, Mage players are going to be very, very happy for this one, so shout out to the devs if this is happening. And finally, with Phase 2 just a few days away, we wanted to give you guys some really solid gold investment opportunities that you can make right now to potentially double or even triple your investment in the next week or so. A massive tip for all of you is to pay attention to the new profession items and craftable things that are coming in the next phase, and to find out what regions are needed for them exactly. And then simply attack them right now while they're all pretty cheap and flip them later on. For example, we have the mildly irradiated rejuvenation potion that is going to give everybody a big attack power, spell power buff, but it's going to require you to have minor rejuvenation potions to craft. And right now, it requires only 2 Mage Royals and 1 Peace Bloom, which are both very, very cheap on the auction house. So stocking up on these potions or either of these herbs immensely could yield you a very big payday, as everyone is going to be using these potions 24/7, whether it be out in the open world, or inside of the raid, within PvP, or just generally everywhere in the game. Everyone's gonna want those big combat activated buffs, so that's really important. Then you also have the Retrocutioner tanking rune for your chest piece that requires 2 Dream Dust, which you can start investing in now as well. And what I think is going to be the biggest moneymaker for players during the next few weeks is going to be your Nature or Fire Protection potions. I could say with some confidence that both of these might be needed within the raid, as we did see some data mines on nature damage spells from the bosses within the raid. And we also saw the final boss inside of Nomergan previously having explosives walk around and deal heavy fire damage also. So I would highly recommend stocking up on reagents like Life Root, Strangle Kelp, Small Flame Sacks, and Fire Oils that you could be investing in and collect to sell for a very big gold flip within a week from now. Lastly, you also have acquiring materials that level up your professions from 1 to 225 very easily. You know, whenever anyone is going to level up their professions, they usually just search it up on a profession leveling guide online and just buy out all the materials as quickly and efficiently as possible. What you should probably do is take advantage of this by investing or farming out those said materials and releasing them on the auction house day 1 of the new phase, as people are going to try to rush to get to 225 profession level as soon as possible to try to take advantage and make a huge chunk of gold. It's better to be safe than sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Prepare a little bit. Phase 2 is just a few days away. Invest in any one of these opportunities. I promise you'll be making some nice gold. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, our interview with the head director, Agrin, and the lead software engineer, Nora, is tomorrow. We just wanted to quickly shout out all of you from the community really quickly for watching all these videos, giving us the opportunity to give you all the best quality content for Season of Discovery we possibly can, man. We really could not do it without you all, and I swear, every day that goes by, it feels more like a dream that I'm even making content for you all on my favorite game of all time, so thank you guys once again. Moving on now to the community part of our video, where we take your opinions and comments from below in our comment section, shout them out. So if you have something creative, constructive, or even innovative towards Season of Discovery, let us hear about it in the comments section below so we could show it off to everybody. Firstly, we have Wild Turk stating, absolutely adding hard mode for geared groups will keep best in slot players running raids at a chance to get rare mounts or cosmetics. Now, this is something that I feel very strongly about and would benefit Season of Discovery greatly. I mean, adding a hard mode version of a raid, but not for the chance at stronger or better loot, but strictly for the chance at cosmetics, such as tabards, pets, mounts, titles, maybe even some sort of spell effects, such as when you charge on your warrior, you know, that flame follows behind you, like pretty much like the glyph that we had previously in Wrath and other iterations of WoW. I mean, I feel like giving me a way to show off that I'm a skilled player is something that I've always loved, and I think that should be left at just that, just strictly cosmetic options. I don't think having these hard mode dungeons in the game to add any loot or heroic versions or mythic versions of loot, I just think it becomes too much of a chore, and it becomes a 24/7 job to try to, you know, max out all these raid runs. So I don't think that's something anyone wants. I think cosmetics can be a really good opportunity though. Next up, we have Armin Chicky stating, this is going to be overwhelming. Too many buttons to push, too many items to look for. This is Cataclysm all over again. Now, while I will say that Season of Discovery is going to be more intricate than Classic and even the Burning Crusade in terms of rotations, it's going to have that classic World of Warcraft feel no matter what. I mean, everything you do inside of Season of Discovery is very meaningful, which is when World of Warcraft is really at its best. I mean, retail WoW kind of lost that touch a long time ago, and it feels like everything you do inside of the game has no real meaning or grind toward it. But I'll tell you what, advanced version of World of Warcraft such as Cataclysm and Wrath of the Lich King have really good gameplay rotations and gameplay engagement. So combining these two, like classic and, you know, more advanced versions of World of Warcraft, has really made a super beast of a version of World of Warcraft. And as Lance would say, our community manager, Season of Discovery is just a World of Warcraft greatest hits version of the game. Lastly, we have Kellenic stating, they still haven't addressed the elephant in the room, right? Mechanical and elemental bosses bleed, poison, and disease immunity inside of Nomergan. Now, this is something that I personally haven't seen any updates on, but we are going to be asking about this in the developer interview tomorrow. So definitely keep your head on a swivel for that one. I'm personally hoping that this isn't the case, and we can use all the specs and spells available to us inside of the raid. I mean, it would feel really bad as a rogue or a warrior in general if half of your kit is just negligible inside of the raid. I don't think that would make anyone feel good trying to do DPS, so hopefully that's not the case. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we are streaming now, and we are doing almost like a episode talk show podcast sort of thing on all things World of Warcraft, and we put some serious quality and effort in making these live streams good, man. So if you guys want to come on out, hang out, support the channel, just talk World of Warcraft, we would absolutely love to have you there. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, leave a comment below for me to respond to live here on these news videos to have a little bit of discussion point and talk about it, man. I would love to see your opinions on some of the topics in these videos. If you want your voice to be heard, let me hear about it in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like and subscribe to get absolutely flooded with season and discovery content. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. It is an absolute pleasure to be making content for you all. Till the very end, my name is Sky from the Comeback Kids. I will see you all in the next one. Peace.